Alright, boys and girls, but let's be real, mostly boys. Recently, I talked on a matter that greatly upsets me, the act of censorship against video games. I have explained my stance on the matter, even if it's dark and gritty and makes you a little uncomfortable, or even more than a little uncomfortable. Video games need to be allowed to be dark, to convey cautionary tales, and utilize empathy, to grow as people and connect with characters in fiction that have endured hardship. I am adamantly against the censorship of video games. The mere concept is disgusting. Gaming is a language that everyone understands, regardless of what their actual language is. In that sense, it's just like music. It touches people's heart and connects cultures from across the world, if only in an unspoken way. If there was ever anything that can unite greedy corporations with their consumers, this is the matter that would do so. Because this is a matter that inconveniences both sides. Collective Shout's campaign hurts their profits and our entertainment. And just so we're clear, it isn't about NSFW games or protecting the children. It never was. This is shown by the fact that they have gone after safe-for-work games in the past, and by the fact that they're just never around when it comes to actual predatory matters like the Minecraft or Roblox communities, where you do have actual grooming going on. And I don't know about you, but I'm very tired, and I'm very angry. I am too young for this shit. Moving forward into the rest of my 20s, I don't want to spend the next 5 decades listening to narcissists on the internet virtue signaling and grifting. And certainly not at my expense. The reason Collective Shout is even of any relevance is because they're the vocal minority. And we see this a lot. I will give you a political example that is simply not negative, even if you don't like the man who made the choice. Up in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump has made the choice to crack down on crime. Sounds nice, right? No more uneducated and violent young men holding you at gunpoint. He did this because D.C. has a really bad crime rate and the citizens felt unsafe. Some probably even still do. That he is doing this is an objectively good thing, and many people, Democrat and Republican alike, are very grateful.
So what's your message to President Trump if he sees this?
I love you and keep up the good work and thank you for all of what you're doing.
But you're going to have people who hate Donald Trump and take the opposite stance on everything he does without thinking for themselves and taking the time to do actual evaluation upon his policies. So now I want you to tell me what you think with the context in mind. Do these people seem sane to you? They are protesting the act of having police actually do their jobs. They want higher crime rates because they have political differences and live in rich gated neighborhoods where they do not suffer from the plight of the everyman. Even if you're anti-Trump or if you are politically homeless, could you see yourself attending this rally? This rally that favors the idea of getting rid of that feisty and authoritarian police oversight. I would certainly hope not. This is not a partisan or bipartisan issue or anything like that. 99% of people don't agree with the message because it doesn't make sense. This is but another example of the vocal minority trying to push what they think is best for everyone, regardless of the will of their opposition. And there is a theme here. People who will never suffer the consequences of their actions, pushing for change that hurts everyone else. Those protesters live in ivory towers, looking down upon those with less than them. They cannot relate to them in much the same way Collective Shout cannot relate to their enemies. So why should they get to make the choice of what gamers get to consume for content? And it wouldn't matter if they were gamers, but the fact that they aren't is proof of the divide between both sides. The problem, though, is that the sides are not equal. There are a lot more gamers in this world than there are drunk, miserable Karens, which is what Collective Shout is made up of. You're not going to see any young men at the helm of this movement because the young men are the target audience for the games they want to censor. Why do Collective Shout want to do this? It's narcissism. plain and simple. These women are fat and ugly, drunk and alone. If they even have any, their husbands are no longer attracted to them because they let themselves go. And now that their sexual needs have gone unsatisfied, they're left only with anger. Well, that and a bottle of wine that just doesn't take the edge off. And when anger is unchecked and uncontrolled, it explodes like a grenade in a cramped recording studio, hurting everyone around it, but also hurting the person who pulled the pin in the first place. They need to feel powerful because they feel unloved. And when they can get together with like-minded and lonely ladies much like themselves, they can do a lot of damage. Do you ever notice that it's always the thing you never think about that becomes the next hot-button controversy? It's because most of the calm and reasonable people are out at work grinding out that paycheck. They do not have time to be terminally online, and if they are on the internet, then they still have that civility, respect, and common sense to behave like a normal and sensible human being. Let's get into the problem now. Collective Shout has taken things a step further, and the first step already crossed the line to begin with. Now they want to arrest you if you play NSFW games. Yeah. Not because you hurt somebody or stole something or destroyed property. No, they want to arrest you for playing Monster Girl Quest. And because of that, they've found a new partner. Another group of social rejects with fascist predilections. A group known as the Online Hate Prevention Institute. And they've made a report where they've effectively sided with Collective Shout while citing a salvo of hollow talking points on why this censorship is so good. They found this partner after making extensive endeavors to paint these video games as highly illegal, which in a lot of countries they are not, towards larger organizations that have little understanding of gaming, such as a United Nations rapporteur. What a surprise that they'd appeal to Censorship City. The rapporteurs are independent human rights experts who investigate and advise on issues. That Collective Shout is trying to get one on their side shows that they are trying to push their narrative to a larger non-gaming audience. The Online Hate Prevention Institute is trying to get help from international organizations that are intended to investigate serious international crimes, such as Interpol, which is not a police agency, but you may think of it as a line that threads cooperation between law enforcement agencies across countries. They are seeking to push criminal charges on gamers by doing this. It should come as no surprise that Collective Shout has effectively become the feminist version of pirate software, and are incurring the reputational damage that comes with this controversy. This does not exclude threats to their lives and safety. Now, do I endorse such things? The fuck do I look like? Hassan Piker? Of course not. But it is worth mentioning that many of these threats were faked by Collective Shout. And when you look at the financial and economic damage they've done to dozens upon dozens of small indie game developers, it becomes more than difficult to feel bad for them. While I do not endorse threats or violence, I do think that it's important to stand up to these misandristic women and tell them to screw off. Let me ask you a question. What good is a harpy that only brings misery to others? It doesn't do any good whatsoever, which is why they need to have their wings clipped, and the only way to do that is to continue to shoot spitballs at them, make fun of them, tell them that they are wrong for wanting this, and ostracize them from society. And all of this can be achieved without the use of violence. Condemnation is not a violent concept. Freedom of speech is our weapon. It is an expression of disapproval, and as things are currently standing, much needed disapproval at that. When I first spoke on this matter, I knew it would not stop at NSFW content, because it was never about NSFW content. It was never about protecting children. Where were Collective Shout when Cuties was made? Oh, that's right. They were right there next to Sneeko glazing the damn thing. Where are they now when Roblox is actively defending child predators? Certainly not pooling their resources to help stand up for the children who are actually being victimized by real and very dangerous perverts. I will put it in layman's terms. These people are not the heroes. These people are not revolutionaries. These people are not victims. These people are the villains. It is inappropriate for a vocal and unhinged minority to speak on behalf of a majority that doesn't agree with them or their narrative. The time has come to stop letting the patients run the insane asylum. Subscribe to the channel, express your frustration, and in rising up to defend our video games, we will wipe away the horrendous and sickening influence of Collective Shout's toxic feminism from this world. Come, brothers, it is time to save gaming.